everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Hawk Talk. I'm Colter Hickok, and I'm joined here by kind of two familiar faces, so please introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what do you do here at DSU, or what did you do here at DSU?
Beautiful.
It's all you, Tyger.
All right, I'll start it off. All right, so I'm Tyger Frye. I graduated last spring. I played football here 2016 through 2021. And yeah, I'm teaching here in Belfield now, so I'm still around the area.
My name is Noah Sickler. I am just about to finish up my next year will be my last semester. Got one more year of football, and I'll graduate in exercise science next fall or in December next year.
Well, honestly, guys, I'm happy to have you here. And the reason that I have you guys on here, you guys were my very first interview, like by myself. And to kind of wrap up my Hawk Talk years and seasons, I thought it'd be fun to like bring you guys back on as my very first interview to one of my very last interviews, because I still have to do Nate Easton and President Easton later on today. So thank you guys for coming back on and kind of going back over some fun times I've had with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course, bro.
So have you guys watched the interview?
Yeah, it's pretty bad, huh?
It is
It's pretty bad.
so awkward.
Atrocious. I saw my earrings and everything.
It is one of the most like humbling things, like seeing from where I started to like now in my interview process, and it's just night and day. So
For sure.
yeah, Noah, you had the earrings, man.
Rough look. It was just a phase I had to go through.
He'll be back. Don't worry.
And Noah, I made fun of you, not like thinking I was gonna make fun of you.
I
I
know,
was asking
yeah, I
about your
remember.
eligibility from the
Exposed me
NCAA
on live
and NAIA.
television. Oh,
And
yeah.
then you took the question in a completely different way.
Yeah, I interpret it way differently, and then just kind of exposed myself on live television. So it's a
Hey,
good way to start out here.
it made great television. Like, that's all I
Yeah,
have to say.
that's true.
And then Tyger, I know that you were a little facial hairless, same with me.
Yeah.
Now you're a big boy. Now you got a big boy job.
I got to try to look older than these students I'm teaching these days.
I swear.
So I'm not gonna ask you any questions from the old interview, except for are you smarter than a fifth grader? Because I know Tyger does teach over in South Hart. He teaches some social sciences. Am I correct in that?
Yep, high school social studies, but social sciences works too.
Perfect. So Tyger, you had picked the topic of zoology, so that's what we're going with.
Easy money.
So I remember I asked Tyger 5 questions. I asked Noah 5 questions. You guys still good for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So Tyger, you went first last time. A group of wolves is called a pack. What is a group of lions called?
Oh boy.
Remember the answer? I got.
Oh yeah, I got this one. They're called the Pride.
Absolutely.
Whew, come on.
Koalas are native to which country?
This one's still for me.
Yes, sir.
Oof. I
I
should
got
know
more.
this one. I want to say Asia. Like, did you
It
say
is- it
you
is
say country?
Australia. It is Australia.
Australia? Oof.
So
that
it is a
works.
country and a continent.
All right, that works.
This is the one where I had said that you had actually answered this right the last time in the interview, and I was wrong. True or false? Polar bears are warm-blooded animals.
Oh, I got this one right.
You got this one right. I got this one wrong.
A good guess then. I'm gonna go with. You said, are they warm-blooded?
Yes,
I'm gonna say true.
that is correct.
I know my polar
Oh,
bears.
boy.
What living bird lays the largest eggs?
Ostrich.
That is correct.
So easy.
What dinosaur has 3 horns on its head?
A triceratop. That's 4 out of 5. That's an 80% of passing grade. That's what we do around here. That's what we do around here.
That's an 80% by my mental math right there.
I'll take it.
All
I'll
right.
take it.
Set the
So-
bar high.
Noah, you ready for
Do
this?
it. Yep.
Right.
Gotta get them all right.
What is the thick layer of fat called on whales?
Easy.
Well,
So
oh,
easy.
blubber. Blubber.
That is,
Thank you.
that is correct.
Had to think.
What does the word dinosaur mean? You want multiple choice on this one?
All right, yeah, multiple choice.
All right. A, gigantic lizard. B, monstrous lizard. C, terrible lizard. Or D, awful lizard.
What was the first one?
Gigantic
First-
lizard.
The second one?
The second one was monstrous. Monstrous lizard. C, terrible lizard, or D, awful lizard?
It's gotta be one or two.
No phone and a
One.
friend.
Yeah, did I get some calls here or what?
I mean,
Needs a lifeline.
I'll go with
I'll
I'll go with
eliminate
number one.
all if we're gonna go by Who Wants to Be a Millionaire rules. I can do a 50-50, get rid of two answers.
No, I'm going with number one.
That is incorrect.
It's number two,
Right.
huh?
It
Gotta
is
be perfect
C,
here.
It is C, terrible lizard.
Really? Shit.
All right.
That's a tough one.
True or false? So first off, arthropods are bugs. I'm just going to give you that already. Crustaceans are arthropods. True or false?
Say it again.
Crustaceans are arthropods. Are considered arthropods.
True.
That is true.
Let's
Congratulations.
go.
Hanging on by a thread.
All right.
Your
What
questions were so
name-
much easier.
What is
Yeah.
the name of a baby whale?
Oh man.
You got two whale questions. I don't realize.
I was gonna say,
realize
what's the
at the time
whales,
you had
bro?
two whale questions.
And a dinosaur. It's all tough.
You got anything for me? Any hints?
A, calf, B, cub, C, pup, or D, foal. And foal.
I got
is
this
baby
one.
horse. I'm just gonna eliminate that one right now. D is baby horse. Is a foal.
Oh, I know this one, Noah.
Dude, should I Snapchat you?
You want to
Nope.
Snapchat me or Tiger?
You're going against me. What do you mean? No, I want you to get this one wrong.
I'll go with B.
B, cub. Are you sure you want to lock that one in?
He already did. He already
Yeah,
did.
I'll lock
That's
it
a
in.
pup, isn't it?
That
I'll
is a
second guess
calf.
myself.
It's a calf.
It's a calf.
Well, I would have got it wrong with you.
All
Either
right.
way, I'm getting the W here, aren't I?
Also,
Oh God, yeah.
Let's go.
last question for Noah. What
Alright.
is the name of the animal that one of the guests is named after?
Yep.
The
take
name
out-
of the animal that one of the guests is
The
named
journal?
after?
Yeah, who else is on the Zoom call?
Oh, Tyger.
Yeah, you're
I really had to think about that. You got a bonus
Appreciate
question? I gotta make up for one of those.
Bonus question, sure. What
80 to
is
60. No retry, sorry.
what does DNA stand for? That's your bonus question.
One more time.
What does DNA stand for?
Oh man, I should know this. Give me a sec. Trying to think.
Glad you're not going into zoology. Oh, come on. We know that team rule too. You already hit the
Yeah, no, I have no idea. I was gonna try to look,
Deoxyribonucleic
but-
acid.
Yeah, nucleic. I knew the second two part and the first one.
So
Tiger gets the dub on this one for sure.
I need it. This is the only dub I'll get all year. You're gonna need a couple more.
For sure.
So, I mean, you guys technically are smarter than a fifth grader.
Let's go.
So congrats to you. I mean, you guys are learning something. Tiger, you graduated college. Noah, you're going to graduate college. So you guys will learn.
I'm qualified to teach high school, so thank goodness I'm smarter than a fifth grader.
Absolutely. And then I just want to thank you guys for being my first ever interview. I mean, we've gone through some tough times, got through some fun times on that interview.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And
I
Thank you for
appreciate
everything you've done as well, Colter. You've done a lot for DSU, more than just the hot talk. So thank
Yeah, I
you.
was
It's
gonna say
awesome.
the
So,
same.
gotta thank you too. You've done a lot for the program.
you guys are gonna make me cry.
No,
Don't
for real.
do
It's
that.
good
Take
memories
glass
to look
off.
back on.
So I mean, thank you guys for being my first ever interview and one of my last ones, and some memories that I'm always gonna remember. And I just couldn't thank you guys enough.
Absolutely. You too. Noah, good luck this upcoming season.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate
I'll be in the stands watching. It's all they'll let me do these days. If I could find some pants, I'd throw them on.
it. So you could probably
We do have
find
more-
one more
we
year
have-
eligibility.
We have more
Oh,
small
yeah.
pants.
You know me. I need those small pants, though.
We do have more. We have more.
Only 4 pairs now.
Let's go.
Slim pickings.
Let's go.
So Tiger, we're getting done early for you, so you can head back to class.
I appreciate you, Colter. It was
Absolutely.
a joy. I'm glad I could show out with that W. But besides that, I appreciate you fellas, and I'll be seeing you guys soon, I'm sure.
Thank
Yeah, it was
you.
good to see you guys.
Yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And for the fans, I'm going to be back right after this. And we're back here in currently my office at the West River Community Center, but I'm joined here by two very familiar faces here around the campus. So please introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what did you do or what do you currently do at DSU?
Sure. I'm Nathaniel Easton, currently in Connecticut. After going to Dickinson, I went to the University of Massachusetts and got a master's. Now I'm in the fourth year of a 5-year PhD program. So I've somehow managed to stay in school at the University of Connecticut. They did win the basketball national championship, but I haven't forgotten my roots in terms of basketball, still repping the Blue Hawks. That was one of the many things I was involved with when I was at DSU. I was in student senate. I was a resident assistant. I was a golfer. I was on the basketball manager. Lots of different things. Some of which have really helped me make sure to stay in touch with things that are going on. One of those things I haven't mentioned was Hawk Talk. Got Hawk Talk to Consolidated. I won't say I started it, even though many folks say I do. That goes to old basketball coach Justin Wetzel. He always bugs me that he was the one that actually started it. I'll give him the credit there. But bringing it to Consolidated was definitely something Parker and I got going, and happy to see it still going, and happy to sort of be a part of that through this version, not in the beautiful studio, rather in a bedroom instead, but happy to be here.
Okay, so my name is Steve Easton. As Nate, I am Nate's father. I am from the class of 1980, 1980. Everybody can do their own math, but yes, the number is in excess of 40 years ago that I was a student at Dickinson State, very active in theater. I was proud to hear Nathaniel describe himself as a golfer. I suppose technically that term applies to me because I too was on the
It was fourth on the list, for the record.
Yeah, pardon?
It was fourth on my list, for the record.
Fourth. Okay, all right. And so technically I was a golfer to Nate. He's Nathaniel to his mom and I and his brother and sister, but he's better known as Nate in Dickinson. Spent a year as student senate treasurer. So that makes two of the three of us in this conversation, Colter, because Colter serves in that office now and has and did last year. Was also on the campus activities board. We actually had a speech team for a little while back in the day. And I'm probably missing. We had what is now Blue Hawk Catholic. Back in the day, went by a different name, but it was sort of a precursor to Blue Hawk Catholic. Those were my main. No, I was Spanish club president. I forgot about that. Spanish club president. Probably couldn't conjugate a verb in Spanish now. I wanted to learn Spanish and I took a lot of Spanish. Didn't stick very well. And then I went to law school after Dickinson State. I went to law school at Stanford in California, then came back and practiced law in North Dakota. About halfway through my career, I switched over to teaching law. And then now I'm back as president of Dickinson State.
Well, I gotta think that we got the two biggest fans of Hawk Talk here in the conversation right now. I know President Easton is a huge fan. Tells me all the time that he watches the episodes, and sometimes I think we didn't do as good as we probably should. But no, I got President Easton always in my corner, just about the episodes and good guests that we always have on.
For the record,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hold on. I don't know what it's currently called, but it was Hawks Point when I was there. If you walk in there, Colter, you'd be a celebrity. They love that Channel 18. And there was no place where I felt Hawk Talk was more important than in those walls. So if you need an ego boost, if you need some confidence, show your head around there, and you'll realize there are some TVs that end up with Hawk Talk on it one way or the other.
I think I've confessed this to you, Colter. I am a big Hawk Talk watcher, but I'm kind of a binge watcher. I get behind and then I spend time catching up with you, and I'm way behind. I'm going to catch up with you over the summer though and see. I've missed it for a little while, but I'll get there.
It sounds good to me. It sounds good to me. And then the reason I kind of have you guys on is it's my last episode as being one of the hosts for these last 4 years that I've been doing this. And I thought, it may be contested that Nate is the founder of Hawk Talk, but he is the founder, bringing it over to Consolidated. Same with him and Parker Robinson. And then the guy who always kind of ends our episodes is President Easton, giving his state of the university addresses. So it kind of works out that you guys are related.
Yeah, it works out. It works out if you're made
haircuts.
Poor Nate has to wander through life looking like his dad, but he didn't have any choice about that, I guess. Yeah, it's Colter, you'd be right up there in Hawk Talk episodes as one of the hosts. Maybe not number one. You're certainly on the Mount. You're certainly on the Mount Rushmore of Hawk Talk.
I think I counted. I think I've got maybe 87 episodes under my belt.
Wow,
that's pretty good.
That's definitely the leader.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We were like my last 2 years there. So and I'll give you credit because it's not an easy thing to do. It's awkward. It feels weird. The camera's on. It's not something you probably came to Dickinson thinking you would do, but I hope it's something that A, is turned into a fun gig, B, gives you confidence to wherever you're ending up in a career and in social settings, to just know that you can hold your own. You can have a back and forth conversation. You don't know what the person's going to say. You're on camera. Like all of a sudden, approaching someone in a bar or talking to someone about a job in a job interview becomes way less stressful when you realize only you two are going to have this interaction, not whoever tunes in. So hopefully it was something that you've enjoyed. It's been a pleasure to watch, and it's fun to see it continue. There's, he talked about being president of Spanish Club. I'm not sure the state of Spanish Club, but things come and go, and that's the circle of life.
Well played. What Nate creates lasts. What his dad creates doesn't last. Okay, well done.
I'm just saying. It's good to see some things continue, and this is definitely one that I think provides great opportunity, and it's fun for the student athletes, the people. It's not just student athletes. Anyone that gets a chance to come on, it's another unique experience, I think, that Dickinson can provide, because look around, there aren't many shows like this at any level of college athletics, high school athletics, pro athletics. It's consistently giving people a chance to see their loved ones, to see family, friends, whatever, and there aren't that many examples of it. So I'm happy you played such a big role in keeping it going.
It is kind of a surprise that more schools haven't picked up on it's work. And I'm gonna give you one tip, one unsolicited tip, Colter. You've earned an interesting bullet point on a resume by hosting Hawk Talk. Hosted and edited, or however you want to write it.
Put the number.
Television show. And I will tell you something, that's what people will ask you about in interviews. You put something interesting. I had a law school classmate who rode his bike from Pennsylvania to California for law school, and he put a bullet point on there. I think when Nathaniel drove out to one of his interviews, the little interesting stuff that not everybody has done really pops a resume, and you should put that on there, and I'd keep it on there for a long time.
It's crazy to think about. So before this interview earlier today, I filmed one with Noah Sickler and Tyger Frye, and they were my very first episode, my very first interview that I had ever done. And I watched the interview before that interview started, and I'm thinking things have came a long way from at that point. A little more facial hair between all of us. Noah Sickler had earrings, conversation styles, they changed. So I mean, I'm happy to be a part of this great group of people that have been a part of this show.
That's a boy, that's a better last show than the Easton boys. That's two of the best receivers we've ever had. I mean, that's
a lot more accolades among them.
Yeah.
We had to earn ours other places.
We were talking about big boy jobs, what that is all going to entail, graduation, just stuff going on in different directions in life. And speaking of which, Nate, do you got anything going on in your life? Anything special going on right now?
I'm stunningly boring in terms of updates. The not that interesting thing about my status as a student is I haven't like technically taken a class in going on 2 years now. The way a PhD program, or at least the way mine works, is the first 2 years are very coursework heavy. You take classes kind of in a traditional college sense, and then you have what's called comprehensive exams. You pass those, and then you're kind of on your own in terms of you don't take classes anymore. You're researching, you're contributing to different projects and starting your own dissertation. And that's the big ugly thing that has to be done to leave in good standing and take a academic job. That's the sort of last hurdle. So that's kind of the stage I've been in now, over a year basically. I teach classes, so instead of taking classes, I have the opportunity to teach some, and that's been really exciting and fun. Way more interesting than the research side of things. But those of you that know me well will find it ironic that my source of dissertation data is actually craft breweries. The reason that's ironic for those of you that don't know me is I'm not a drinker. So I'm spending time really getting to know the ins and outs of something that I don't personally partake in at all, but it's been a really interesting process, and hopefully will lead to me getting that dissertation taken care of, moving on, and having a more exciting update for whoever. I don't know if the next host might not tap back into the Easton host. The lineage is getting further and farther away. So this might be my last Talk appearance, but if it is, hopefully at some point I will have a LinkedIn update, whatever you want to call it, that I'm a fully employed professor somewhere at a school maybe near you.
That's awesome.
All right. So, I'm sorry, Colter. I don't know if you said you didn't have many questions. I got two long-serving Hawk Talk hosts here. I got a couple questions that I could throw at the two of you. You willing for me to fire a couple questions at the two of you?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Okay. Did either of you have one or a couple of surprising facts, maybe about your guests, that you learned in the Hot Talk context, and you were like, "Oh, I thought I knew you. I didn't know that about you." Did anything like that happen for either of you? If not, this question's going to bomb. But I'll come up with another one.
I would say I think the funniest thing is sometimes you don't really know the person that you're interviewing, and so you don't really have like a preconceived notion of how it's going to go. But sometimes you've interacted with them in a fair amount in a sort of normal setting, and you don't. That doesn't necessarily mean that's how they're going to be when the interview starts. Like they could overtalk. They could like compared to what you think is going to happen. They could kind of be a shell and give you 1 or 2 word answers. And I think that would be sort of where most of the surprise would come from, more so than the content themselves, simply because most often I wasn't asking questions I had a preconceived idea of.
I was honestly going to say the same thing. You have conversations with people on the daily, like maybe your friends or maybe in a class, and you can have a long conversation about whatever it is. You put them in the camera situation, you put them on the actual studio setting, and everything is, "Oh yeah," or "No."
Yeah.
And all it is short, choppy answers. So you really have no idea until you actually get them in that situation. You tell them, hey, it's just a conversation between me and you. Like, think of the camera's not even there. So with that, you kind of get people to break out of their shell at that point. But until it's like, no, it's just a conversation between me and you. That's all it is just the short, choppy answers.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll keep going.
I feel like
But
Ron always gives him a bit of a scare when he's like, just point when he says like which camera to look at. That's when you see their eyes. Like it's like, uh-oh.
It's
It's
that,
so
it's
different.
that look, that deer in the
That's
headlights
when
look.
you lose them sometimes.
and it is interesting now that we've gotten used to these computer cameras that a television studio camera still feels different to people than and that's interesting. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. You can have a tie for this, and best athlete or athletes during your time at Dickinson State, whether you got to interview them on Hawk Talk or not, or maybe either way. Best athlete or athletes.
So I've always asked this person who's now a coach. He's the wide receivers coach for DSU football, Hayden Gibson. He has never wanted to be on Hawk Talk, had zero interest in it. So many records that were set by Nick Walker, like passing all time, just passing in a game. Like, he has never wanted to be on, and that was one that I was kind of upset about.
But a heck of an athlete. Yeah.
Heck of an athlete. I always got to give HG his props.
I would probably have to, on the men's side, probably go Jay Liggins. He was just dynamic in sort of everything he did on the football field. I advocated for him
mention.
being,
Oh, I'm sorry. Before
I never wanted there to be a play where he wasn't on the field. Coach Stanton and I guess disagreed on that a little bit. But anytime, I mean, special teams, offense, like there wasn't a time where he was on the field where something couldn't happen. I mean, I don't think people realize he blocked like extra kicks or extra points. Like nobody, if it was an important extra point, he was probably going to get it. And then his stuff on the track was impressive too. And then wait a
minute. Before you go to the other athlete, I need to note, this year in the NAIA, Northwestern of Iowa won, I believe, in the playoff game, Dickinson State at Northwestern of Iowa in Jay's
his senior year.
It was his senior year
where he had those 4 interceptions.
How many interceptions?
Senior. Yeah,
it was 4.
4 interceptions. That young man intercepted the ball 4 times. And what I remember was the quote. What was the quote next week from the week after that? The game was against Kansas Wesleyan.
Yep.
Remember what the coach said at Kansas Wesleyan?
Fire me if I throw it.
He said, if we throw the ball toward that kid, I'm firing myself. And I don't know what was happening in Iowa. They kept throwing it his way. And but anyway, he was a guy. All right. So on the females, you were going to give us.
He had a touchdown in that Kansas Wesleyan game on offense. Female side.
By the way, quick note: if we're talking about the Kansas Wesleyan game, Dickinson State took that fumble at the end of the game. The whistle had not yet blown. That game should have been a Dickinson State victory. But okay, but I you got to get over.
I don't know if there's a statute of limitations on.
All right, women's side.
Got to be someone that we had some really good softball teams when I was here, including a run, multiple runs to the regionals and 1 run to the College World Series. And those teams are kind of deep. Not kind of, they were deep. They had a lot of hitters. Pitching was stable. Usually there was 1 or 2 feared aces that were the best pitcher in the conference. Alex Vargas is probably I don't want to start any controversies amongst the softball team, but she was treated like Barry Bonds in terms of just getting walked, getting nothing to hit. Once she would have her first or second at bat, and then she was done for the day, seeing anything to hit. She was a lot of fun to watch and did a lot of good things, which brings up someone else. On the baseball side of things, he was a crazy power hitter. that got not kicked out of, but removed from the Jamestown baseball roster. He was told, no thanks, we don't need your services. And then he turned around and sent them home from the conference tournament his senior year. That would be Jacob Tesher. He was a stud and fun to watch, and led the NAI, I think, in batting average and home runs, which if you're a baseball person, you don't usually have that combination of average and power. So
yeah, he was another one that got the Barry Bonds treatment a lot. I mean, he didn't get that many pitches to hit, but when they made the mistake of pitching to him, yeah.
On the women's side for me, I think I gotta go with Courtney Olson, just from the women's basketball team. She NAIA player, or All-American player, I should say. She killed it in the North Star. First team all conference. They made it to the playoffs when she was there. Unfortunately, lost in Dacotah State, but we did actually get her on Hawk Talk. Kiera Schneider, she was lucky enough to get that interview with her, and I think also our cheer program. I now say Kiera Schneider. Those guys have also been killing it. So all those athletes, I know they just had their banquet, but Brendan Johnson, two-time All-American, stuntman for the cheer team. He's been killing it. So I think all the athletics at DSU have thrived, whether that is in an off year or whether that is one team is doing better than a different team. I think the Hawks have always been dominant. And I do kind of
puts us in a pretty compromising position to have to single people out. So thanks for that.
No, I understand. There's a lot.
And
right, I just say Courtney was during my time. Courtney, the thing that was, and this is true of the other people you have mentioned, all the other coaches knew that a huge part of our game was going through Courtney, and she was undersized as a post, and she still, and oh man, they beat on her. I mean, they just, and it, she was, didn't stop her. She was something to see. There was a few times I almost, I felt guilty that she was the pounding she was taking, because that was obviously the strategy, but it didn't work. I mean, because she was a good free throw shooter too. I mean, I remember the Mayville game her senior year, they just basically decided she was never going to shoot. She shot something like 20 some free throws and made like 18 of them. But yeah, and the cheer team has just been, I mean, remarkable to go from non-existent 3 years ago, and in their second and third years of existing as a competitive team to be fourth in the nation. That's just remarkable. All right, so I took over. You can start asking us questions if you want.
Yeah, so you bring that
Colter.
up. I actually have written down when Nate was on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader questions. He had chosen language and reading as his Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader. So
Oh man, I shouldn't have said that thing about said that thing about Spanish club. I hope it's the English language, because I wanted to learn Spanish.
before we started recording, it was kind of funny that Nate maybe or maybe not remembers his score and how he did for Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader. So,
I remember being relieved that it wasn't awful.
True. So we were going to ask President.
I don't think it was great,
So
but it wasn't.
score. You know the score. You know the barrier that I'm trying to shoot for.
I
Okay.
did have to rewatch the interview with Nate to get those questions again. So President Easton, are you ready?
You ready? Yes, I'll give it a try.
How many Harry Potter books are there? There is the answer are 4, 5, 6, and 7.
I'll go 6.
That's the same answer that Nate had in his interview, but it is 7.
Okay.
What
Okay.
are describing words?
We didn't spend much time on that.
Pardon?
What are describing words?
Adjectives and adverbs.
That'd be adjectives. That is correct. What was Mark Twain's real name?
Samuel Clemens.
That is correct. How many letters are in the alphabet?
Oh,
What? You're kidding.
it's either 24 or 26, and I'm not going to count them out because that would be cheating. It's either 24 or 26. I'll go 24.
What?
It's
Oh,
26.
we can't air this.
Pardon?
It's 26.
What the heck was that?
Oh my.
I don't think we can air this.
They're
They're gonna use this to recruit against
Uh,
students.
I can tell Trace we can edit this one out, but
Oh,
no. I got to live with it. I got to live with it.
who wrote A Christmas Carol?
Christmas Carol was written by, hang on a second. I know who it is. Dickens.
That is
Dickens.
correct. Who is the library named after at DSU?
Stockton. I believe it's Matilda Stockton.
That is correct. Who was the hunter of Moby Dick?
Hang on. Oh, have you got like A, B, C, D?
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to take them then.
Ishmael, Captain Ahab, Stubb, or Starbuck?
All right, I think Ishmael was his name for the whale. I think it's Captain number. What was B? Captain.
Captain Ahab.
I'm going to go B.
That is correct. What language do we speak?
Well, I've already established that it's not Spanish, and I'm not doing very well in English, but I'm going to say an Americanized version of English.
We'll take that as an answer. So, kind of get some Massachusetts, little northeast
Okay.
part of the country. How many books has Stephen King published? We've got
The answer is unlike the person you're talking to, every single one he wrote. Do you accept that as an answer?
I
He's
will
never
accept
written an unpublished book.
we got 56, 57, 58, and 59. We will go with that as an acceptable answer. Of he wrote all those books. As
I'll go 58, so you can take points off. I'll say 58. I have no idea.
That is correct.
All right.
What is the plural form of the word moose?
Actually, there are some who contend that there is no plural form, and others who say that moose is the plural of moose.
That is correct. I mean, I didn't think the alphabet question was going to throw you for a loop.
yeah, that was concerning.
Hey, now, just show the part of the tape where I did say, in fairness to me, I did say it was either 24 or 26. Did I not?
You did.
I don't think you should be looking for credit. That's
All right. I've got one that's from one of our family legends for my fellow panelist here. He knows what the question is that's coming. Are you ready, Nate Easton?
I'm not doing it. Colter can.
I'm ready for whatever question you got.
The question is, how do you spell guacamole? And that was a question that came up in a game we were playing. Nathaniel and his brother Tedder were teammates.
It's GUAC.
Up to that point, he was doing well, but after the C, he added an H, and his brother went nuts.
So it's GUACAMOLE.
That's probably right. Yep.
Close than I got.
That's
Close
not.
than I got.
Yeah.
So who did he win?
How did I
Who
do?
won?
So I believe Nate Easton is still, are you smarter than a fifth grader? Or are you smarter than a PhD student?
Seriously? I only got like 2 wrong.
I
More
think
than me, I guess.
actually you say that, and Nate also got 2 wrong.
Oh,
So you guys are you smart? You guys are both smarter than a PhD student.
And didn't you say we both guessed the same incorrect answer? This is a little freaky.
I didn't get the alphabet wrong. Don't try to tie me into that
wrong.
mess. I think I got Harry King wrong.
I think it should be noted. It should probably be noted in fairness to Nate, that I watched that episode that he was on. And I still got the letters of the alphabet wrong.
Hey, and that's okay. That's
a
okay.
big moment.
So lastly, We ask this to everybody who comes on Hawk Talk. I say this now, and I definitely forgot to ask Tyger and Noah, but in fairness, Tyger did have to go to class because he was teaching with 3 minutes to spare in the interview. I got to ask you. So, Nate, you had previously said in the interview that Kenzie Grubbs, which is now Kenzie Berg, we had asked you, what does DSU mean to you? Your first response was Dickinson State University, where anybody can be somebody. Do you still stand by that testament?
Absolutely. Did you think you were going to be a host of a TV show? Um, I mean, that's kind of proof in the pudding. I, I do stand by that, and um, in I don't know how much time we have left, but I don't want if you open this up to President Easton, he'll use all that time up explaining what Dickinson means to him, and I don't want your last talk to end without you having to answer the question that you pose to everyone else. So I suppose without further ado, it's time for you to own up to what does DSU mean to you.
So I was just on a podcast the other day with I'm gonna say we're just gonna skip his name because
Fair.
yeah. We had asked this, what does DSU mean to you? And the number one answer is family. And I stand by that. Family as in like you have your own family. You come to DSU, you are now part of a giant family, whether you got a Hawk that lives 1,000 miles away. You mentioned North Dakota, you asked like Dickinson State, you have a connection, you have a family member. People in the community have come up to me and be like, aren't you a lifeguard? Aren't you the bouncer at the Spur? Aren't you that guy on TV? I mean, maybe I am, but I can have those connections with people, and I wouldn't want to trade those for anything in the world.
Good deal. Agreed.
President
Now
Easton,
you can let President Easton take the rest of the time. I just had to cut him off before he compromised.
according to the Zoom
end.
call, we've got 4 minutes and 49 seconds left.
Lots of things as it does to those. I'll tell you, as president of the university, I've never met anybody yet who graduated from Dickinson State and regretted attending Dickinson State. That is not true of other universities, including other universities in our area. I have met people that have regretted going to other schools. So I think the family is a part of it. When I talk to prospective students about why they should very seriously consider Dickinson State, I do, and I say it's hard to articulate this concept, but the way Nate said it is a good way to say it. You don't have to be a superstar to be a superstar at Dickinson State. And now that doesn't mean we don't have superstars. We were talking about some athletes that are high level. I mean, I always go back to Nathaniel is where I'm going to go next. How many schools the size of Dickinson State have an alum who won an Olympic gold medal in track and field? Olympic gold medal. Ramon Miller won an Olympic gold medal in track and field, and it was in the 4x400 relay, and he was the anchor man on that relay, and he got the stick 5 meters down and tracked down the lead runner, and for his country, the Bahamas, won its first ever gold medal in men's track and field. So we do have superstars, but we have, like Steve Easton, who got to play on the golf team too, and I actually back then wasn't as bad as I am now, but there are lots of opportunities here for people to shine. And we want the superstars, yes, but we also want the stars, because you're going to be a star at Dickinson State. And on the family side, you're talking to 2 of 4 generations of the Easton family that have graduated now from Dickinson State. So it's also for us a family school, and we feel very fortunate that Dickinson State's our family school. And since there's like 42 seconds left, I will say, Colter, thanks so much for taking up the Hawk Talk mantle. It's in good shape for you to pass it on to the next set of hosts for next year. Thanks for your hard work on the show. been fun watching you and also interacting with you, seeing all the other things you do on campus. We're going to miss you.
I absolutely want to thank you guys for doing this and being my last interview that I will ever have a part of the show.
No.
No. You'll get interviewed.
We rope him back.
We
might have to have our own show just to have another at some point.
Kind of cool.
At some point,
we'll talk after
resurrect. We'll have to call up Ron and see if he'll let us in.
We'll talk after this about that.
You will be in the Nate Easton Hawk Talk Has-Beens show slot that he's in today, and we'll call you back and remember Hawk Talk. You'll remember.
Well, once again, thank you guys so much for coming on and taking the time.
Thanks, Colter. Great talking to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good luck in the future.
All right, Hawks are up, everybody.
Hawks are up. I'll be back right after this.
And welcome back. It's me here in the studio. I just want to thank Parker, President Easton, along with also Tyger, Frye, Noah Sickler. It's kind of weird kind of being back in getting to talk to those guys again, specifically Tyger and Noah. They were my very first interview by myself. And then getting President Easton and Nate, one of the guys who started Hawk Talk over at Consolidated and the guy who usually finishes it off for the seasons. It's kind of my last episode. I know it might be bittersweet for the people watching. I know it's bittersweet for me, the fans. Thank you for all that you guys do. I've got some notes I want to say. I'm going to try and not get super emotional just because I don't want to cry on camera because I'm an ugly crier. I firstly want to thank the DSU Heritage Foundation, specifically Ty, Pam, Amanda, Kyle, Kiera, and Myron for giving me this opportunity of being one of the hosts of Hawk Talk for as long as I have. I've counted all the episodes that I've been involved in some way, and I was 6 off of making it to 100 episodes of Hawk Talk. I want to thank Seth Moorkirky and Susanna Moberg for trusting Ellie Hanser and I to take on the reins after you guys have done such a great job with the show. To Parker Robinson and Nate Easton, who brought the show over to Consolidated, and their dedication to DSU. To the former hosts that I've worked with on the show, Mackenzie, Gunnar, Kiera, Hillary, Dallas, Abby, and Jacob, specifically probably Mackenzie. She was the very first one that we got to know a lot about each other on the show, and just thank her for that. And then to Dallas, Abby, and Jacob, you guys are going to take the show and just run with it. So I'm happy for you and I'm proud of you. Thank you for all the fun memories. I will look back on them and remember how much we struggled writing questions. To President Easton for being a huge help and always being available for advice and just being a huge binge watcher of the show. To all the guests that we've had on this show, thank you to all for answering the question, what does DSU mean to you? You guys have such amazing answers, and the number one answer that we get is what is the family part. I couldn't be happier to know that we all have the same opinion. DSU is a family. To my parents and family for watching back home, I love you guys. To the fans of the show who stop and ask me, aren't you that guy from that one DSU TV show? I love it every single time. Lastly, the biggest thank you is to Ron Rhodes and Trace Wells. They make this show possible. They have been such a huge help. They've been a big inspiration for me for these last 4 years. I consider these two my friends, as I've seen them weekly over the last 4 years while hosting the show. Getting to know them and how smart these guys are with their endless amount of experience they have in the media field. These two are what make this show possible. And for that, gentlemen, I love you. So, Ron, I got you, buddy. So, for the final time in my collegiate career, Hawks are up.